Peace, blessings, and look who's back. Not me, nope, Mr. Neil Oliver. Allegedly he smells something, so let's go have a look at what he smells.
There's fear in the air. There's no mistaking it. It's made all the more noticeable by the fact Britain has never, not in my memory at least, been a fearful place. And for the longest time, the British have not been a fearful people. I remember unrest and discontent, of course I do. I remember righteous anger, but I don't remember the smell of fear. I say the strongest smell of fear, not just here, but elsewhere in countries of the developed West, is emanating not from the ordinary people, but from the leaders. Leaders of governments, leaders of giant corporations. There are plenty of frightened citizens as well, masked up and isolated, driven to distraction by months, now years of mismanagement, misinformation and propaganda.
I'm not frightened, just taking a precaution, masked up, vaccinated, no problem, taking a precaution because of mismanagement, incompetence, corruption. Yes, those things that go on in government. I'm just putting on a safety belt, mate. That's all. I ain't scared.
All of it combining to create a wearying, debilitating sense of constant anxiety and uncertainty. But the strongest smell of fear comes not from those at the bottom.
Come on, man. This is the conspiracy here, isn't it? They're doing all of this just to make you feel anxiety and make you feel fear.
Bottom of the pile, rather from those at the top. And what are they so frightened of, these governments and leaders?
Yes, pray tell, because they don't seem scared of any of us. If they were scared of us, they wouldn't be ripping us off, letting us die. But do tell us.
I'll tell you what, they're frightened of their own people. They're frightened of us, and there are a lot of us. It wasn't until the first decade of the 19th century that the population of the world reached 1 billion. It took another century and a quarter after that milestone for the head count to double to 2 billion, and then just 30 years to get to 3 billion. It's estimated that now we're adding an extra billion people every 15 years or so. There are 8 billion of us now, more people alive at once than ever before. More people means more and more pressure on all the things worth having, not just toilet paper and diesel, but freedom and space in which to live and roam. While the many queue and squabble over loo roll and gas for the tank, because that's where the mainstream media is goading us to look, the leaders tell us our troubles are all our own fault anyway. Brexit breaking supply chains, our lifestyles making the planet too hot. All they need is more of our time, they bleat, more of our cooperation, more of our money, just more. But as the line goes in the outlaw Josie Wales, don't pee down my back and tell me it's raining. As well as the leaders, the billionaire elites are fearful too. Billionaires are adding billions to their wealth, not by the decade, but with every week and month of the present crisis. I can imagine it might be frightening to have so much when so many beyond the castle walls have so little or nothing at all, not even hope. I think of a technocrat.
They ain't scared of. I wish they were, but they're not.
That billionaire, and in my mind's eye I get an image of a cat being carried through the crowds on a busy city street inside one of those plastic crates you see in airports, looking out at us through the grille with fearful, uncomprehending eyes. With great wealth comes great anxiety, apparently. As well as fearing the people, like the leaders do, I think those billionaires don't much like us either. We're like ants and wasps, spoiling what might otherwise be a lovely picnic just for them. Our small lives are petty concerns. Rent, mortgages, health and education are beneath them. More importantly, our lives are made so different by circumstances we're becoming increasingly incomprehensible to them. There are two groups to watch, those with everything to lose and those with nothing to lose. Leaders feeling backed into a corner by the great unwashed often seek safety by demanding and then taking more and more control, for our own good, of course. From the beginning, emperors have felt safest when as many people as possible are kneeling down or lying flat on their faces so they might be walked over. It's hard for a person to defend him or herself from a kneeling position or prone, far less fight. Fearful leaders need insulation between themselves and the people, and so prefer to hoard everything of value, food, resources, wealth, so they might.
They're not scared of us. They use us. We fall for it. Are you not living in the same country that I'm living in? Because the people were lapping it up. They lapped up Boris's every word in the last election. Get Brexit done. Get Brexit done. He got a massive majority. They are not scared of the people. They know how to mold the people. They know how to get them to do what they want. What are you talking about? You helped them. You backed them. And now you're just angry because you can't go into a shop without wearing a mask. Boo hoo. Stop with this populist nonsense. You're trying to cast a net over a massive amount of people, and you only speak for a tiny minority of them. But you want to act like you speak for everyone else. You don't want everyone else to prosper. You only want your small clique to prosper. You ain't fooling me.
Dole out the crumbs. There's already talk of an end to money as we have known it, to be replaced by something virtual and digital you can neither see nor touch. Imagine a world.
Cashless society, are we? I mean, it's probably a natural progression that we'll get to something like that. But this is very conspiratorial. They've been going on about this for decades. Watch my Millennium 2000 debunk video. They talk about this exact same thing. In fact, in that video, they believed cashless society would be implemented by 1996. And it's still not here. This is Conspiracism 101.
World where it's not you that decides how much of your money you can spend on beer or meat or a holiday, but an algorithm making that decision for you for your own good. Fear makes the fearful lash out. Australia makes for shocking viewing right now. Black-clad enforcers dressed and armed more like stormtroopers than police and beating citizens with sticks, firing rubber bullets at them, kicking and kneeing them while they lie pinned and helpless on the ground, men throttling women. My family and I spent time in Australia. My kids went to...
Yes, I agree with you. Police brutality is terrible, isn't it? You don't care about police brutality against protesters. You didn't care about the Sarah Everard vigil. You didn't care about BLM, Antifa, Extinction Rebellion. None of it. You don't care about police brutality. You're only using it for this, for your sick means. I stand against police brutality no matter the cause. But what would you say? Oh, the police have to disperse the crowd. Hypocrites.
To school there and learned and sang the national anthem of those days. I clearly remember the line, "Australians all, let us rejoice, for we are young and free." Not so much now, apparently. Is Australia the canary in the coal mine, the weather vane showing which way the wind is blowing? Your guess is as good as mine.
Or what? Is it the canary for the New World Order's coming?
What we have now is an unholy alliance between fearful leaders and contemptuous billionaire technocrats. Together they have the tools to take all and keep all. Never in the field of human relations has so much been taken from so many by so few. I say the best leaders are those the people barely notice, those who, without fanfare or hope of immortality, defend freedom and let people go about their business unmolested. Those that seek praise for their efforts are tolerable too, as long as they keep the lights on at the same time as preening for the cameras. The leaders, the people, and then history do not forgive are those that make themselves feared and then despised. Remember at all times that your life is your own, and your hopes and dreams weigh the same as those of any emperor or billionaire. They're frightened. You can smell it. It smells like victory. Hold the line.
Well, that was a thing. I never knew that fear smelled like victory. How do you know what you're smelling if they smell the same? Well, that's given me something to think about. Peace.